And then the next question I put in the chat box also. If you'd like, I'll read it to you.
I'm seeing it. So you have I'm looking for something that is very cushion and gives stability. I think laces would help. So round or square toe box. Well, in some ways, and let's just continue. My right ankle is fused and I don't want to fall at this time of the year. So and walks. So let's just take a look at what are the important points here. The first thing I think that's most important is that because of her fear of falling or concern about falling, let's not call it a fear, as a potential issue, what are the things we want to make sure we include in the footwear? The first thing is proprioceptively, you really are in touch with the shoes and they're in touch with you. The best way to do that is with an over-the-ankle shoe, a boot. That's for stability. That's for concern about potential falling. That's for support. That's for a fused ankle. So all of those things add up to a high top. The next thing I would say is the fused ankle has to be managed. That means the shoe should have a rocker profile so that the ankle does not have to bend as we go down and hit the ground or lift our heel off the ground. So I would say a rocker sole profile at the heel and at the toe to reduce the demand on the ankle to go through its range of motion would be appropriate. And then as far as the mesh and all, well, I think, breathability and all those things are important. Quality of materials, et cetera, is important. Laces certainly agree with all of that. So, if you went to the Eneslow website at eneslow.com and you went to boots or high tops or anything in that category, you'll see a number of options, and you're invited to just call and talk over the phone with one of our staff to review your needs. Whether we can help you with what we own or not, we can certainly help you build the profile of what you need to get. If you have a very wide foot, then you have to make sure you get shoes that have a wide toe box and a high toe box, not just, shaped right. It's got to have enough volume. If you're wearing thick socks, you have to have enough room to accommodate those socks. One of the things we've just added in at Eneslow are toe socks for people with diabetes and arthritis and sensitive feet and what have you, hammer toes, bunions, because we know that if we can keep the toes separated, then we have more room to fit the shoe and keep the toes, 18 muscles in the toes of each foot, woggling, some scale, not too much, but the right amount. So I think those are the things that will guide you the best. And you're always welcome to email me at rss@eneslow.com.
Excellent. I do have a question with regard to that from a physical therapy standpoint and balance. Two things. With the rocker bottom, do they have to be thick-soled or can there be thin-soled rocker bottoms?
When we say rocker bottom, we mean enough toe spring to provide clearance.
Yeah.
Say you need a rocker bottom, you need about 20 degrees of toe spring in the front. If the shoe has 20 degrees of toe spring, it's not about how thick the sole is, it's got the qualities you need.
Okay.
You need some rockering in the rear foot with the rigid ankle. So you just want to make sure you don't land, you're not forced to land early, where the ankle still has to come on down. If we can delay the moment of heel contact until the leg is right there, then we're going, so the heel rocker is important. Now, if you have a Pedorthist in your community, they can take what you already own and convert it into a rocker.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And also as far as thickness of sole, remember, most people who need a rocker, a little more rigidity is actually better for them because they don't want to have the foot bending. So a thicker sole gives them a little bit more rigidity.
Mm.
As the base is broad enough and is not narrowly slung, so the stability in the frontal plane is maintained, you should add a broad enough platform through the midfoot, then, you should be fine. And if you start with a very thick shoe, you can always sand it down and make it thick if you don't need so much thickness to achieve your goals. Easier to sit down than it is to keep layering on materials.
Sure. Because from a balance standpoint, thinner soles provide better proprioception with regard to balance. So, and fall prevention. So that is something to consider with that standpoint. But again, we need to balance all of those needs. And one of the things that I suggested was the Nabosu insoles, possibly to help with that proprioception, particularly if the sole needs to be thicker for that individual. So
I like Nabosu. We carry Nabosu in Eneslow.
I know you do.
Frankly, I think Nabosu is in that proprioceptive training. But let me just say, a contoured footbed that sits under the foot, matching the contours from the standpoint of appropriate force, pressure, shear reduction, whatever. What we call a plantar-grade foot, a foot that's getting its proper share of distribution throughout. It's giving you the best proprioceptive feedback, because that's almost like walking on sand, walking in a shoe. So never diminish the value of a footbed that sits in the shoe that matches the foot shape and pressure areas, demands and requirements and accommodations. And that really goes a long way. Some of these ready-made orthotics, my favorite is the Lynco, Lynco from Atrex, Aetrex. You can get ones with different shapes and different features, and know you're going to get a great plantar-grade footbed for most people with most foot problems.
Can you define what a plantar-grade footbed is?
Well, let's just recover the plantar-grade. So if I've got a foot in which there's space between my heel and my toes, I want to fill that so the heel, middle of my foot and my toes are all carrying the distribution of weight.
Yeah. Right. What we say in physical therapy is that you're supporting all unsupported areas. So you're absorbing space. Okay. So I understand that now. Okay. Well, going back to the Oso shoes again, this person in particular has bunions and a very high arch. So would you recommend those shoes based upon that particular foot type?
I would only recommend that you could try it because it has a big opening in the middle. So a high instep is going to be accommodated through that. It did have a nice mitten toe shape, which I think is always good to have. And it did have a good solid heel counter for rear foot stability and support. Is the heel height right for you? Is the ball of the foot right for you? Is the toe right for you? Is the shoe the right flexibility for you? Those are the things that until you try it on, is it really the right size, the right shape? Those are things that if I carried the shoe, I'd give you answers, and if I knew your feet.
Right.
So that's how I can guide you right now.
Excellent. Okay.